For decades, an American passport opened doors worldwide. But in 2025, the global landscape has shifted dramatically. Political tensions, security concerns, and changing diplomatic relations have left several countries completely off limits to U.S. travelers. In this video, we explore 10 destinations that have officially closed their borders to American tourists, examining why these bans exist and what they mean for international travel. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on changing global travel restrictions. Number 1. Iran, home to 24 UNESCO World Heritage Sites and millennia of Persian culture, has become a destination Americans can no longer experience firsthand. In 2024, Tehran officially prohibited U.S. citizens from entering the country amid worsening tensions over nuclear policy and international sanctions. Iranian authorities pointed to security concerns and potential espionage threats as justification for the ban. While American tourism to Iran was never substantial, there had been a growing interest among cultural travelers fascinated by the country's ancient civilizations, architectural marvels, and legendary hospitality. The ban has severed valuable opportunities for person-to-person diplomacy that often transcended official government relations. American visitors typically returned with stories challenging media stereotypes, describing Iran as a country of profound hospitality where they were welcomed warmly despite political differences. Tourism data shows Iran welcomed approximately 1 million international visitors annually before implementing the American travel ban. Today, the absence of U.S. travelers represents not just lost revenue, but missed opportunities for cultural understanding in a region where misconceptions abound. Number 2. Yemen, home to architectural wonders often called the Manhattan of the desert, has been devastated by civil war since 2015. In 2024, authorities officially prohibited American citizens from entering the country, formalizing restrictions that had been practically in place for years. This Arabian Peninsula nation, once famous for ancient mud brick skyscrapers and coffee cultivation, now faces one of the world's worst humanitarian disasters. The ongoing conflict between Houthi rebels and government forces, complicated by regional power struggles, has created widespread famine and disease outbreaks. The travel ban comes as Yemen attempts to manage its internal crisis without perceived foreign interference. Officials cited national security concerns and the inability to guarantee visitor safety as primary reasons for barring American travelers. International aid workers who previously operated in Yemen describe heartbreaking conditions, with over 24 million people, nearly 80% of the population, requiring humanitarian assistance. The American travel ban further isolates Yemen, making it even harder for the outside world to witness and respond to the country's suffering. Number 3. Cuba, just 90 miles from Florida's coast, has reinstated its ban on American tourists after a brief period of openness. The Caribbean island, with its vintage cars, vibrant music scene, and colonial architecture, had become increasingly accessible to Americans following the Obama administration's diplomatic thaw. However, tensions resurfaced with subsequent U.S. administrations imposing new sanctions and restrictions on Cuba. In 2024, Cuban authorities responded by closing their borders to American visitors, citing the need to protect national sovereignty from foreign interference. This policy reversal has dealt a significant blow to Cuba's tourism industry, which briefly flourished during the diplomatic warming. Ministry of Tourism figures show international arrivals dropped by 20% in early 2024 compared to the previous year, with American visitors, once a growing segment, completely absent. For many Americans who visited during the brief window of opportunity, Cuba represented a fascinating glimpse into a society that developed largely without U.S. influence. Those who experience the island's rhythms, cuisine, and hospitality often speak of these memories with nostalgia, knowing such experiences are once again out of reach. Number 4. Syria, cradle of ancient civilizations, and home to UNESCO World Heritage Sites like Palmyra, has been ravaged by civil war since 2011. In 2024, the Assad government officially banned American citizens from entering the country, citing hostile foreign policies and security threats. Once a popular destination for history enthusiasts and cultural travelers, Syria's decade-long conflict has destroyed countless historical treasures while displacing over half its pre-war population. The country remains fragmented with various armed groups controlling different territories, despite government claims of victory. The humanitarian situation remains dire, with limited access to healthcare, education, and basic services across much of the country. International aid organizations face severe restrictions, and the ban on American travelers further isolates Syria from external witnesses to its ongoing crisis. Journalists who have accessed Syria in recent years describe cities in ruins and communities traumatized by prolonged violence. For travelers interested in Middle Eastern history and archaeology, neighboring Jordan and Lebanon offer safer alternatives with equally impressive ancient sites. Number 5. North Korea, a nation that's long maintained strict isolation from the Western world, has further tightened its borders. While never a mainstream tourist destination, the secretive state officially banned all American visitors in 2024, citing heightened security threats and hostile intelligence activities. Relations between the U.S. and North Korea have deteriorated sharply following renewed nuclear testing and harsher American sanctions. Pyongyang's leadership responded by completely shutting its borders to U.S. passport holders. Beyond political tensions, North Korea's underdeveloped healthcare infrastructure played a role in this decision. The country's limited medical facilities make managing disease outbreaks challenging, and officials expressed concerns about foreign visitors potentially introducing new health threats. Before the ban, a small number of adventurous Americans did visit North Korea each year, typically through specialized Chinese tour agencies. These travelers often described surreal, highly monitored experiences. Now, even these limited cultural exchanges have been completely severed, adding another layer to North Korea's already profound isolation. Number 6. Venezuela, once South America's wealthiest nation and home to the world's tallest waterfall, has formalized what was already an unspoken reality. Americans are no longer welcome. In 2024, amid deepening political and economic crises, the Venezuelan government officially barred U.S. citizens from entry. The ban came after years of deteriorating relations, with the United States supporting opposition forces and imposing economic sanctions that Venezuelan authorities blame for exacerbating the country's hyperinflation and widespread shortages. Officials in Caracas cited imperialist interference as the primary reason for prohibiting American travelers. Even before the official ban, Venezuela ranked among the world's most dangerous countries for travelers. The U.S. State Department had issued its highest-level travel advisory, warning Americans of risks including violent crime, kidnapping, and civil unrest. For those determined to explore South America's natural wonders, neighboring countries like Colombia and Brazil offer comparable landscapes without the extreme risks and restrictions. Venezuela's travel ban represents another chapter in its isolation from the global community, further limiting international visibility of its ongoing humanitarian crisis. Number 7. Myanmar, a Southeast Asian nation that until recently was emerging as a major tourism destination, has now closed its doors to American visitors. Following the military coup of February 2021, authorities have systematically isolated the country from international influence, culminating in a 2024 ban on American visitors. The military junta, facing international sanctions and condemnation for human rights abuses, cited foreign interference and national security as justifications for prohibiting U.S. travelers. This decision represents another step in Myanmar's retreat from the brief democratic opening it experienced in the 2010s. Before political upheaval, Myanmar attracted visitors with golden pagodas, ancient temples, and unique cultural traditions preserved through decades of isolation. Tourism had become a vital economic sector, employing thousands and providing crucial foreign currency. The ban's impact extends beyond economics. It further limits international witnesses to the ongoing persecution of ethnic minorities and pro-democracy activists. Travelers who visited Myanmar during its democratic period often describe the profound warmth of local people and their eagerness to connect with the outside world, connections now severed by military rule. Number 8. Russia, A vast nation that once attracted hundreds of thousands of American visitors annually has closed its borders to U.S. travelers. In 2024, following escalating diplomatic tensions, Moscow stopped issuing visas to U.S. citizens altogether. This decision came after allegations of election interference, cyber attacks, and espionage led to mutual sanctions that plunged bilateral relations to their lowest point since the Cold War. Russian authorities cited protecting national security as the primary motivation for the ban. The impact on Russia's tourism sector has been significant. Cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg, which previously welcomed over 300,000 American tourists yearly, have seen a sharp decline in visitors. Local businesses, from luxury hotels to souvenir shops, report substantial revenue losses despite efforts to attract tourists from other regions. For Americans with Russian heritage, this ban has been particularly painful. Many with family connections or cultural roots in Russia now rely on virtual meetings and online tours to maintain these ties. Travel agencies specializing in Russian experiences have pivoted to offering virtual cultural programs instead of in-person visits. Number 9. Libya, a nation whose ancient Roman ruins and Mediterranean coastline once attracted adventurous travelers, has been effectively closed to Americans since the fall of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. In 2024, authorities formalized this situation by explicitly banning U.S. passport holders from entering Libyan territory. The country remains fractured by civil conflict, with various militant groups controlling different regions. This instability has created one of the world's most dangerous environments for foreign visitors, with high risks of terrorism, kidnapping, and violence. Libyan officials cited fears of external destabilization and espionage activities to justify the American travel ban. Libya's ongoing humanitarian crisis has displaced millions internally while destroying much of the country's infrastructure. The absence of stable governance makes even basic necessities scarce in many regions, leaving little capacity to ensure visitor safety. The few Western journalists who have entered Libya in recent years describe a nation struggling with seemingly endless conflict, where once magnificent archaeological sites face looting and destruction. For American travelers interested in North African history and culture, countries like Morocco and Tunisia offer safer alternatives with equally impressive historical landmarks. Number 10. Afghanistan, a land of breathtaking mountain landscapes and ancient cultural traditions, has officially closed its borders to American visitors. Following the U.S. military withdrawal in 2021 and subsequent Taliban takeover, relations between the two nations deteriorated rapidly. In 2024, Taliban authorities formalized the ban on American travelers, declaring it necessary to prevent foreign interference and protect Islamic values. This decision reflects the group's broader isolationist policies and rejection of Western influence. Even before the official prohibition, Afghanistan ranked among the world's most dangerous destinations. The State Department had long classified it as a do-not-travel zone due to terrorism, kidnapping, and armed conflict risks. The 2024 ban simply confirms what was already a practical reality. For Americans who served in Afghanistan, whether in military, diplomatic, or humanitarian roles, the travel ban represents a painful severing of connections. Many express ongoing concern for Afghan colleagues and friends now living under Taliban rule with whom communication has become increasingly difficult. These travel bans reflect complex global realities far beyond tourism. Each represents a fracture in international relations with real consequences for local economies and cross-cultural understanding. While political tensions may eventually ease, allowing these destinations to reopen to American travelers, the current restrictions remind us that global mobility is a privilege subject to geopolitical forces beyond individual control. For those planning international travel in 2025, staying informed about rapidly changing entry requirements and diplomatic developments has never been more important. In our next video, we'll explore emerging destinations welcoming American travelers with open arms. If you found this information valuable, please subscribe to Global Travel Insights for regular updates on international travel conditions. Like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and remember, While some doors close, our world remains full of extraordinary places waiting to be discovered.